landing page is just as important because you don't just want to get the click. Then you're going into vanity metrics. You want to make sure those clicks convert into dollars. In your experience, which ones actually move the trigger? So hey, welcome to another episode of Chats with the Seller Knights. Today I've got Pat McKeering with me. Hello, Pat. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good. We're going to be talking about Google Ads, specifically how to write good copy for Google Ads. Now, before we begin, Pat's really worked on a bunch of campaigns over the last kind of few years that he's been working with us. And what I love about you, Pat, is that you've really dug your hands into direct response marketing, because direct response marketing is all about copywriting. Absolutely. It's all about grabbing the attention, understanding how to connect with a buyer, what you need to say. And this is really such an essential part if you want to make your Google Ads better. That's kind of what I found. It gives someone a key, like a real competitive advantage if you have good copy. Budget is really important. You can always outspend people, but if you've got the right budget and you got your copywriting down, we see accounts explode. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, how to make your copy better on Google Ads. And I'm just going to dive straight in with kind of the starting point, and that's with let's talk about your Google Ads. What are the most essential elements of a high converting Google ad? What would you focus on, number one? And what are the kind of things that you need to watch out for and get right? And how do we do that? So let's kind of look at that.
Yeah. Okay, so the elements of a Google ad. So you've got your headline.
Yep.
Your descriptions.
Cool.
Right? They're your main ones that we optimize for.
Yep.
There are a heap of other things like your site links, your call outs and all that. But your main your main two are your headlines and your descriptions. Mm-hmm. Right? So the headline calls out the target audience and matches their search intent. Right. The description with your value proposition sells the click, and then it's always good to have a call to action to tell them. Some CTAs. Yeah, some CTAs to tell them what's going to happen next. The ad isn't to sell your product or service. Its job is to sell the click.
Awesome.
That's all.
I love that. This is so important in copywriting in general, but people don't get this with their ads. They try and sell the whole package. All you're trying to do with your ad is actually get that person to your website.
Yep.
And then the website should be doing the selling.
Absolutely.
Or even the website just sells the next step for an opt-in or something. And then your email or your salesperson actually does the selling. Yep. Man, if nothing else, you don't take anything else away from this episode, that number one thing right there is just so important. It's so critical, and you've probably got your money's worth already. So it's really important. And like, I always liken that to dating. Like, you don't go to the first date and ask the girl to marry you. Like, there is a process. It's like you have to get to know each other. Yeah. You have to do this. So the pitch in the first text isn't, hey, do you want to get married at church tomorrow? It's, hey, do you want to grab a cup of coffee? Yeah. And that's what it is. So you're selling the click to the website. So critical. Awesome. That's a really good thing. So how can we tune that? And what do you think, actually? Let's kind of go back. But out of those parts that you've told us, the headline, the description, the CTA, what's the most important one? And would you focus on? If anything else, you can only focus on one thing, which one would you focus on?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, the headline, because it takes up the biggest
part
of the real estate. Yeah, it's the most prominent. A lot of people probably don't even read the description.
Yeah, right.
And they just see the headline. They want to make sure that headline matches what they're looking for.
Yep. So the intent.
The intent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's talk about intent then, so people understand what it is. So intent really means what I'm intending to do. Yep. So, and the way that I search determines that intent. Yep. So, for example, if I'm in the market to buy something, I'll put in buy these kind of Nike shoes. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, if I'm not ready to buy, but I'm aware, it's like I would type in which Nike shoes are best for playing basketball, or which Nike shoes are best for running. Now, how do you change your ad based on those two intents? What would you do different?
You can hold me.
Yeah.
We don't really run ads like that.
Yeah, we just focus on commercial intent and getting buyers to our clients.
Most of the time, the way our funnels work, we use Google Ads mostly as that demand capture.
Yeah.
Where our SEO does a lot of the harvesting there for those types of searches.
Yeah, right. So it's really we narrow in on those that are ready to buy, because that's where you're going to get the ROI. They are most likely to convert from a click into a sale. And I get it. Like, it's risky doing the other one. Like, if you've got unlimited budget, that's cool. Or if you've got a massive budget and it's just allocated to brand, and it's okay for you to spend that just on brand, knowing it's not going to result in sales, maybe then you can go further up the customer journey like that and run them to it. You would run them at a different page. Like, you wouldn't run them to your product page. You'd run them to a comparison page of the different shoes and things like that. So, but what we got to realize then is, if you're doing that, it's probably not going to result in a sale right there and then. So yeah, that's probably why we don't do it too much for our clients. It's like, we want to get bang for buck. Yeah, that's where it's at really for Google Ads, and that's why they work so well. All right, so let's go back to copywriting then. We got the click. All right, so we wrote the headline. It caught someone's attention. They really like what they see. They click through. How important is that next page? So we call it the landing page, but it could be your product, it could be your home page, it could be anything, but let's call it a landing page for now. How important is the copy on that page? In relation to that ad?
Yeah, absolutely. Very important, actually.
Yeah? Yeah,
because you want to meet them where their intent is, right, and what they're looking for. So just like a very simple example would be with your, for a service-based business, like an electrician, right? Mm-hmm. For example, if that customer is looking for an electrician in a certain suburb, say an electrician in Wollongong, or say
Wollongong down in Sydney,
Wollongong down in Sydney, and then they land on a completely different suburb page.
Right.
They're like, oh, no, this guy isn't for me.
They don't service my area.
They don't service my area.
Okay, so there's a disconnect.
There's a disconnect in the message.
Yeah, right. So this is really easy to get wrong. If let's say you run suburb campaigns, and we probably have seen this. Let's say we run suburb campaigns in Brisbane, and we're going local, but we're using a North Brisbane suburb, say, I don't know, Caboolture or even Beerwah. So that's like the northern end. And then they run that suburb campaign to the homepage, which talks about the fact that they are in Brisbane. That's probably going to be a big disconnect, and it's easy to get that wrong.
Absolutely.
So you need to have an actual... and that doesn't mean you don't service that area.
No.
But the disconnect's there, so you really got to have a landing page that says electricians servicing all of Beerwah, all of Caboolture. So that's what you're getting at, that Absolutely. It needs to have that. Yeah, I guess that's good. Have you had other? I know one example that where we've seen where let's say you're running an offer like installing fans or something like that, but then if the traffic's general to that, they may not be after that. So if they're after an electrician, but the offer's specific for a specific service within that, then that's probably not going to convert as well either. So you should really kind of tighten the two up.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. So, look, we'll use the electrician example for
we'll stay there.
They're looking for we'll stay there. Say they're looking for an electrician, right? They're looking electrician near me. They land on your homepage, right? And then they can't find the service that they're looking for.
Yeah.
Then they're going to bounce pretty much because these guys aren't.
They don't do it. So you've done the right thing. You got the copy right on your ad, but the landing page is just as important, because you don't just want to get the click. Then you're going into vanity metrics, because that doesn't matter. Yeah. You want to make sure that you cost per click, and you want to get clicks, but you want to make sure those clicks convert into dollars.
Absolutely. That's
the game here. That's what we're in now. Okay, that's really good, and it can be as subtle as even you're saying the same thing, but you're saying it in a different way. So I think I love, and people always say, oh, but they've heard that before. I was like, nah, people forget 2 seconds after they read something what they read. So I love the fact when we run an ad, their landing copy pretty much says the same thing, word for word. So they're still assured that I'm in the right place. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so that's really what to get right. We want to get the headline right. want to really narrow in on that. Obviously, the description is just as important, but what comes after the click is just as important as what happened when we write the copy for the ads. Cool. That's good. Okay, well, let's talk about the other areas of a Google ad. We talked about them before. Let me just read them out. So you've got site links, you've got call outs, structured snippets, dynamic insertion. So if someone's kind of looking at all this stuff and they're like, well, what's the best way to use these? How can I use them to actually strengthen my copy? When should I use them? When shouldn't I? What's a good way to use all those extra things that you can put into your ad?
Yeah, absolutely. You should be using them all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the number one reason for that?
Well, the number one reason, especially with like your structured snippets, right? You're going to have the opportunity to take up as much real estate as possible on the search results.
Yeah, right. So instead of your ad just being a little snippet, all of a sudden it turns maybe into 2-3 times the size.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. That's good.
And that's not going to happen every time. It's going to really, and we're going to go a little bit. It'll be a little bit deep on this one, but it really depends on what your competitors are spending, how much they're bidding. So all that goes into play depending on if you're going to get that real estate or not.
Yeah, right. But put it in, because if the ad allows you to do it, it'll give you maximum results. So that one's pretty simple. It's just use it. Can you get it wrong? Yeah,
I mean, if you've got a random blog on your page that's just going to take them off track to where you want them. But if it's something that adds value, if it's your warranty or case studies that build upon your offering.
So this is for site links.
Yeah.
So what's your recommendation of best site links to use in general? Every campaign is going to be different, but in general, what's some examples?
Yeah, your warranty page, your About Us.
Yep. Who you're going to be working with, guarantees. Yep. Results, case studies, testimonials. Yeah, that's good. So really it's just anything that's going to help make the sale.
Absolutely.
Because your About Us page, you're learning about who you're going to be working with. Who are these people? So it builds trust, builds rapport. Your warranty is going to give peace of mind. Your guarantee, same thing. Testimonials, again, it handles objections. Oh, they've done it for these guys. Oh, look, they've done it for 100 of them. So that doesn't take them another direction. Whereas if we go back to the example earlier on, if the site link, if your main link is these Nike shoes, but then you have a link for the 10 best Nike shoes, they were already set on that product. Now you're sending them back in the customer journey. You're going to deter what you're actually trying to achieve. That's really good. All right, so social proof, benefits, numbers, emotional triggers, they all get kind of thrown around as being really important. But in your experience, which ones actually move the trigger?
Yeah, real numbers.
Real numbers,
not just highly rated plumber.
We're
talking about 4.9 stars out of 523 reviews on Google.
You're going back to direct response copywriting here again.
Absolutely.
Always being specific. Being specific means you're more believable because you've actually taken the time to read it. So it's not like, we've got 500 plus reviews. We've got 573 reviews, 5-star reviews, like you said. And even, 4.9 is probably better nearly than 5-star because 5 stars, like, really? Anyone could say that. But if you say 4.9, you've actually taken time to look at, these are my stats.
Anyone can say they're highly rated, right? But only you can say you've got 4.9 stars out of 523 reviews.
So, it's unique. It's believable. And it's specific, which makes it, this is right. Yeah, that's an old one from back in the copywriting days, which is really awesome. So what about kind of social proof? Is that important to have so we're talking Google Ads copy. Is that important to have in your headline, in your description and things like that? Like people, this many followers on Facebook, or these people said this. Is that more for there, or where does that belong?
Yeah, it depends on your products or services, whether you have that in there or not. But you'd definitely be wanting that in your descriptions.
In the descriptions, awesome.
Yeah, headline doesn't give you that many. You only get 90 characters in your headline.
It's cool. So let's really...
Sorry, you only get 30 characters in your headline, whereas in your descriptions you get 90.
Yeah, right. So your headline again, and we're going kind of back here, but your headline really needs to nail that intent.
Yep.
Let people know, and then your description kind of explains the value that you're providing, and that's where emotional trigger words, things like that, to make sure you capture
Calling
that.
out the problem.
Yep. And one of the things I know that a lot of clients do as well, and this is more so when they're working in a market where there's different price points, and there is someone that can, let's say a deck, someone can build a deck for this price, but then someone can build the same deck for 2-3 times the price. And obviously they're not going to be the same outcome, but the person doesn't understand that. So you can put emotional words into the copy that actually offends these kind of people that just want it done for cheap, but attracts the ones that they want quality. We'll sit down with you. We'll measure it all out. We'll do this, and that. Whereas we'll do it fast and nasty. That's gonna attract some, but then and you don't want those people clicking on your ads, because again we talked about. So you can really control your ad based on your copy and the emotional words you use, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. All right. So that's that. That's really kind of all there is to writing high quality copy for ads. It's nailing the intent, making sure that if someone searches this keyword, have that keyword in there. It's having the right copy that's gonna get them through, and selling the click. That's another thing. Let's talk about some mistakes that people make that you kind of see, or that people generally make. They just get it wrong. What are the biggest mistakes that people make when they write copy for their ad?
Probably talking more about themselves rather than the customer and their problems and their desires.
Yeah, right. So just fluffy copy, not really targeted. Yeah, I think the stuff I see is they write the headline doesn't even have the keyword in it.
Yeah.
So how do you expect someone to grab their attention? I've just written in looking for this type of, let's say I'm buying a camera, I'm looking for this type of camera, and then it's not even in the headline. You want to match that. So that's probably a big mistake too. I think one other thing we probably see a lot is people not understanding their avatar.
Yep.
So they don't even know.
Understanding the problems that they're going through,
mm-hmm.
and how your service or product is a solution to those problems.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. So you got to understand those things. And the language the customers use as well.
All right. Yeah. And that just makes your ads better. Absolutely. Rather than just plain vanilla. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool.
Me Too advertising is the most common mistake. If you look at the search results, there's 9 out of 10, everyone sounds the exact same. But if you can be that one business that shows you understand your customer on a much deeper level, and with other things like solid social proof that's unique to you, who's going to get the click? The Me Too's or you? That's
great. Yeah, you got 9 of the same and one that cuts through the fluff. That's where the click's going to go. Oh, that's really good. Awesome. Well, mate, that's a lot of value for people, because literally if someone's listening to this, you could go back to your ad account and just kind of look through those things. Does my headline connect with the search, with the persons, with the intent? And then does my ad sell the click, or am I trying to sell the product already? If you've got a problem there, you can fix some of your stuff. Does my ad have unique characters? Does it have unique data? Does it have social proof and things like that? Does it have the right emotional words to attract the client that I'm trying to attract? And then lastly, am I the same as everyone else, or am I being different? That's a really good framework. I think people can kind of pass through. That'll help them understand how to write really good ad copy for Google Ads. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you're struggling with your copy, if your ads aren't working, we'd love to have a chat with you, whether it's local with a lead gen campaign or if it's an e-commerce campaign. We're very much geared for both. So if that's an area you're struggling in, hit us up at websites@sell.com.au. We'll get in touch with Pat and you can have a chat about these things.